Welcome my darlings. This week's video is a review of the Garage Therapy's new Dash Serum product. Now, me being me, this is going to be compared directly next to Aerospace 303 Protectant. Alright, so I'm actually here 6 weeks after the initial application right now because I'm coming to evaluate it and see how long they've lasted. But first, let's look at the application process. Now, as with everything, preparation is key. So here I'm cleaning all the plastic surfaces to be dressed with Koshkemi Polestar at 1 to 20, which is around 5%, and I'm using a scrubber pad. Now I've got a kit made up into detailing that has the Polestar, a scrubber pad, 2 different wipe-off cloths, one short hair one and one long, and a 500ml Carpro dilute bottle. So a link to that and every other product I'm using in today's video are down below in the description. Now it's up to the 303. I'm going to put that in that corner and I'm going to do the rest of the dash with the Dash Serum because that's what I want to see. I know how this looks and how it works. I never apply straight to the material. I like to put it onto an applicator. I'm just going to take a picture here for reference of what it looks like with the 303 dressed and nothing next to it, so nothing on the right. Okay. So I'm just going to put that over here, over the bit we just done, not to get any crossover. So that now is on the line with that, so we should get for other side of the applicator, a couple of spritz. Not used this at all, so it's thinner. It smells quite nice. It smells a bit nicer than the 303. It's definitely thinner. It's more liquid rather than like the other one's a bit, a bit creamy. If I breathe that in inside. I don't know. It spread nicely, didn't put much product on there really. Now I know when I was watching Paul Dolden's video on this that it went on shiny and then dried off satin, and I can see that happening over here. This is just freshly done, so I mean that'll be just a minute. In fact, I'll just buff off the excess a tiny bit. Because the initial bit looks like, looks a bit like Armour All, you know, it's super shiny, but you can see now it's just drying off. I'll take a picture of that so you can see it drying. So I'll come back and take a picture of that afterwards. I'm going to go on and now do it on the door sill here at the front, the driver's door sill, and the one my daughter gets in at the back because she always steps on it as well, so we'll see a longevity thing there. Now my immediate thought when I've done this, the one on the right here is when it's dressed with the Garage Therapy Serum, and the one on the left is without any dressing. And to me, it looked like the side on the right, which had the Garage Therapy on, wasn't really dressed at all. That's just my perception of what I'm seeing. In case it's not obvious, what you're watching here is the process of it drying out. Yeah, it's interesting. Now it's drying out, you can really see
This is definitely more matte satin. This is a little bit glossy. It's still pretty satin. The thing is, this looks dressed, and I don't think this does. It'll be interesting to see how the dash holds up.
We're not in Kansas anymore, are we? I've transitioned over to the van, and I'm giving this the prep work again, so cleaning it down with Kosh Chemie Polestar at about 5% and the scrubber pad. The interesting thing for me here is the dash material in the van is very, very different. It's that traditional hard plastic rather than that soft faux leather.
Oh. Handbrake.
Now, as you can see here, I've got a big, nice, thick layer of tape in the middle. What occurred to me after I'd done the dash in the Merc was that a control area would have been really good, especially after the fact I was seeing it look as if the dash wasn't dressed when I put the GT Serum on. So I really wanted to be able to see like a clear gap in between the two different products. Yes, in hindsight, I should have done that in the Merc as well, but I've done it now, so I corrected that, I guess, and it still provides value, I think. This is what it looks like immediately after application, and you can see the garage therapy still is kind of flashing off here. Luckily, we can skip forward to this where it's completely dry, and you can really see there is a big difference between the two sides of the control and the control. So it is dressed, it just looks quite different. It's rich, but it's a lot more satin. Now, it'd be interesting to see what this looks like 6 weeks later, right? Well, luckily we can. So back to the Merc first, and you can see that there is still a clear difference between the two products. They're probably still holding up fairly consistently with each other, and the 303 is clearly darker, but a bit more shiny, a bit richer looking maybe. Definitely less OEM, less factory fresh though. It looks dressed, and you can see there's definitely more of a sheen to it, which could be your thing, or it could be something you really don't like. Interestingly, when I was doing this, earlier I put it on the door sills. I haven't been bothered to include the footage of that. It's kind of worn through. It's been too wet. There's been too much foot traffic over both of those sills to actually make it a meaningful test. I go over to the van, and it's not a different story, but you do get a sense that the garage therapy has dropped away a bit more compared to the 303. But it's still noticeably there when you look at the control. So to me, is this a bad thing? No, it's not really. It was super easy to apply. There's just differences in the product. I think on the van's plastics, I think the 303 really suits it and makes it look a bit nicer, but maybe because they're not so sumptuous. I don't know.
Now then, we're looking at that and we think, yeah, this gives a very nice OEM look when they're side by side to the 303. Can you really tell? Does it look like it's applied? No, it didn't to my eyes, but when you put the control in the middle, there's obviously quite a big difference. What one do I like the look of more? What do I think is a better product? They seem to last the same amount of time. It's really down to the aesthetic that you like. I actually prefer the slightly deeper, richer look from the 303 than I do from this, but if you want a super OEM look, this is definitely the way to go. So there you go. Both of those are brilliant products, and they are some of the best on the market anyway, I think. I always use 303 up to this point, so there you go. Hope that's been a useful one. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching.